I just want you to think of this as sort of a one-sided date. It's like the guy that wouldn't shut up, because I want you to know exactly who I am. We're going to get our dork on very, very shortly.
The Top, broadcasting live to at least 3 people on Spreaker.com.
Oh, dude, you've got a cucka-mouth. What the is a cucka-mouth? Dude, please, would you kiss your mother with that mouth? Well, no, but I'd French kiss your mother with this fucking mouth. Dude, really? Sounds like somebody just needs to get a lifestyle out of my fucking business. Dude, please shut your fucking cucka-mouth.
Mr. Pop.
Dorks of the world, unite. No, okay, listen closely. It's not WOBA, it's WABA.
Mr.
This is the Chris Top Program, broadcasting worldwide to at least 3 people.
And I am the one and only Chris Top, broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment here in sunny Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view. How the hell are you, world? You know, I'm going to give you some inside information on exactly who the Top is. Maybe you don't care. I don't know. Maybe you do care. You could at least be nice and act like you care. That's sort of what I'm going for here. Now, first, I'm going to give you an idea of how the shows are going to start out. You have an opportunity to win a 10-day trip to one of those crazy tropical islands out there somewhere. Now, I'm going to tell you how. I know lots of you have probably named your cats or named your dogs, maybe Tom and Jerry or Fred and Barney or something like that. Really original. Maybe you were in college. I don't know. If you're a good name giver, this could be an opportunity for you. You have a chance to flex your creative chops and perhaps put another incredible mark on an unsuspecting creature. Now, there's a new species of fish that's actually been discovered. To me, all fish look the same. They do. And I hope that's not a racist comment, but this 4-inch fish was discovered back in February off the coast of Chile. And National Geographic, they're holding a contest starting today, and this contest goes until August the 26th. And it's just to let you name it. And like I said, the grand prize is some 10-day trip to some tropical island somewhere. And I looked at some of the pictures, and it would be an amazing 10-day trip. It really, really would. I'm thinking about submitting the name Chris Top. It could be the Chris Top Fish. I wonder how many Nemo suggestions they're going to get. But I mean, people can name planets, right? So they should be able to name fish as well. So I'll tell you what, after the show, I'll put a link up on the Facebook page. So if you have a cool name for this new fish, then I'll show you where to go so you can submit your post. And please, if you do win, the only stipulation that I have is that you take me with you. So I can spend 10 days in this tropical paradise. I really won't be a bother. I'll get a Bahama Mama, and I'll just sit there on the beach. And I'll smoke a cigar, and you go do whatever you want to do. I'll even do some live broadcast. I'll sandproof my laptop, and I'll just go for it. But that's the only stipulation I have. Now, I do want to welcome everyone to the chat. And when I talk about the chat, on Spreaker, there's actually a way to communicate with me while I broadcast live, and you're not a voice in my head. Or maybe you are. I really just don't know for sure. You can join Spreaker, and then you can chat away while I broadcast, and you can talk to me. I'd love to say hello to Becca. Becca, it's been a long time, and I saw you posted on the Facebook page. It's really nice to have you here. And it has been a while, and you shouldn't stay gone for so long, because I know for a fact, absolute solid fact, that you were probably suffering from withdrawals. And that's not good. That's not good at all. Now, we've also got the lovely, vivacious Kiss Kiss in the chat. We have Love Muffin, a.k.a. Jen, that's hanging out with us this evening. I've done a few shows today. They're all kind of short. And regretfully, this is probably going to be the last show. But this is like the climax. This is like the grand finale. This show, we peel back the layers of the top. We go into his mind and we figure out who this Chris Top that we speak of really is. That's kind of scary, I know. And I do apologize ahead of time. Now, I was thinking, with the whole new account on Spreaker, with the new and improved The Chris Top program, I figured I'd better reintroduce myself. Now, I could sit here and I could tell you my childhood, and I could tell you just what I was like growing up. But, I mean, you probably get a pretty good idea, because I'm a dork, so you probably know that my milk money was taken from me more times than I care to remember. With that being said, I think the best way to get to know somebody is just tell some stories. And I think when you really, really break that down, the Chris Top program, I think that's probably the reason most people tune in anyway. For some strange reason, just to hear, does Chris Top have a new story? Did something else happen to him? Is he sharing something with us today that he hasn't ever talked about before? And that's what I'm going to do on this show. And I've really got to watch my time, because I get sidetracked and it's going to get away from me, because I've only got 30 minutes. Now, I went back the other day and I listened to my first show on Spreaker. I love, and it's no secret, I love the term super cool. On my first official Spreaker show, I probably said the word super cool at least 80 times. And it was only like maybe it was a 10-minute broadcast, something, I don't know. It wasn't very long, but most of it consisted of the phrase super cool. And I have improved, I think, over that. So I'm working on it anyway. And like I said, I'm not awesome, but I'm constantly working on being awesome. So that's sort of where I'm at. Now, it was recommended that I tell this story, and I don't know why, but it'll kind of give you an idea of, I guess, a much younger Chris Top. Back in the day, when I was on the verge of being cool, or at least I pretended to be cool, I love going to Panama City. I think it's one of the most beautiful beaches, and there are so many things to do. And if you're an adult with a family, it's a great place to go, unless you go during spring break. Now, you've seen MTV. You know what goes on during spring break at Panama City. But aside from that, if you don't go there at that time and you have a family, it's a really good place to go. Well, when I was younger, of course I went during spring break because, well, that's the best time to go if you're in college. So, me and my buddies, we load the Jeep up and we go to Panama City. Now, imagine a sunburnt dork in Panama City. I'm kind of, trying to meet up with some ladies, trying to lay on the charm, and it doesn't always work for me. So, one day, it was kind of cloudy out, and I didn't really want to go to the beach just because I felt like it was going to rain. So I thought, well, I'll just take a walk down the strip. I'll go in some of these little shops and I'll look around, because I need to buy something for my friends back home, so they, like a t-shirt, because you get those deals on those t-shirts, you get like $5 for $10. So at least you bring them back a t-shirt, right? It's either that or seashells, and they know if you bring back seashells, you didn't spend a dime on them. Which sometimes those are the best gifts. I'm not knocking that, I'm just saying. So I go in one of these little shops. Well, the main reason I go into one of these shops is there was this particular hottie that was in the shop. And I tend to do this, and I don't know why I do this, and I get burned every single time. I tend to hit on girls that are out of my league. And that's what I did this particular day. And I thought it was working to my advantage this time. So I go in, I introduce myself. I said, "Hi, I'm Christoph. How are you?" And we started talking. And I said, "Look, it's starting to rain outside. I don't really want to go hang out at the beach, not in the rain." And this particular girl was a local, and you could always tell the locals from the spring break party girls. It's just she's a little more laid back, and just the way she dressed, that kind of thing. And she was really hot. So I was surprised she even made eye contact with me. I really was. So we're sitting there, we're really hitting it off, and I'm thinking, okay, am I on candid camera? Is what's his name? Alan Funt? Was that his name? Is he gonna like pop out and surprise me? And I'm gonna be like, damn it, Alan! I thought I was gonna at least get to second base, and you've got me on candid camera, but no, that didn't happen. So I suggested, and I don't remember her name. I really don't. And I didn't spend that much. Well, you'll understand. So I said, well, hey, it's going to rain. Why don't we just walk down to the movie theater? Because there was a movie theater, I think, that was relatively close. So we decided to, or she said yes. So we left the shop, and we have a great conversation on the way there. I'm thinking, wow, this is quite possibly the kind of girl that I could take home to meet my mother. And, I wasn't going to tell her that, not after just meet, because that's how you scare girls away. You don't automatically on a first date say, hey, look, I'm going to take you home to meet Mom. Because right then she's thinking, okay, this guy's going to try to marry me. That's not a good idea. So I wasn't going to go that route, but I mean, that's something I thought in my mind. And guys think that. It depends on what you want from the relationship. I mean, either way, the guy's going to hang out with you. Whether you're the type he can take home to meet Mom, or whether you're the type that he would never take home to meet Mom, he's still going to hang out with you just for different reasons. So anyway, we're having a great conversation, and I don't even remember which movie it was. And typically in this kind of a story, that would be good news. That would be like, whoa, Mr. Top didn't even watch the movie. Score. No, it's not like that at all. So I dish out the funds because, well, it's the first date, and I've always feel like the guy should pay on the first date. Now, before you jump to any conclusions, she wasn't a man. That's not the client. That's not where this is going. So go ahead and get that out of your head. So anyway, I dish out the money, and I say, hey, do you want something to drink? And I'm hoping she didn't want too much stuff because I had limited funds. I'm a college kid. I'm in Panama City. So you can imagine I don't have a lot of money. So, I mean, I'm forking over big bucks to spend time with this chick at the movie theater. So I offer her something from the concession stand. Well, she didn't really want anything. And I was like, whew. I said, okay, well, why don't we just split a Coke? And she was like, okay, we can do that. We can split something to drink. So I think I ended up getting a Coke slushie, and I'm guessing, but that's probably what I got, because that's usually what I get. Well, actually, I get the Coke slushie with the cherry, and I ask them to mix it. And why is it every time you go to the freaking movie theater, the slushie machine is always out of order? Like 85% of the time, the slushie machine is out of order. You would think if this happens that much, they would have somebody that's at least on call 25 hours a day to fix the stupid slushie machine. Because it's always down. They don't let their popcorn poppers go down. They don't let their regular Coke machines go down. They don't ever run out of these products, but they let their slushie machines go down for one reason or another. You would think they would invent a better slushie machine. It's 2013. Why don't we have slushie machines that work properly? I don't get it. See, if you're an entrepreneur and you really want to work on something, if you want to improve something, work on the slushie machine. You'll make a ton of money. I promise you. But you've noticed that, right? Never, ever does it work. And when it does work, it's like the angels have come out of nowhere, and you hear the Mormon Tabernacle Choir singing in the background, and then you get your slushie, and it's got some crazy glow about it. That really happens when it does work. Now, I've got somebody else in the chat, so I'm just going to break into my story. See, I'm already halfway through this show, and I swear I've got like at least 3 stories to tell, and I'm barely through the first one. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to try, though. We've got the Minnie show in the chat. Minnie, it's good to see you. And, the movies are a bad idea for a first date. And I've gotten older, and I've learned since then that you don't take a girl to the movies on a first date. See, I'm kind of hacked off about this first date, too, because I went to... Well, okay, we'll get to that. So we're sitting there, and we're having still a great conversation. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to have too many opportunities during the movie to talk to this girl. So I'm just going to have to go ahead and just be very daring, because I'm in Panama City. If she says no, it's not the end of the world, because there are plenty of girls out there in bikinis that might go back to my place. Okay, probably not. But I figured I would go for it because we seem to have connected a little bit. So I look at her and I said, hey. And that was just me, just barely out of puberty and being very nervous. I said, hey, what do you think about maybe after the movie? And what I was really... See, you got to remember, I was very young. I would have left at that point and went back to my place just like that, before the movie even started. That's just how... See, nowadays it'd be like, okay, why don't we watch the movie, maybe go for dinner, then we'll go we'll talk for a while, then maybe we'll go back to my place. We'll have coffee, and then we'll see what happens, but I'll probably end up falling asleep. That's how it is nowadays. But back then, it's like, hey, babe, hey, Barbara, hey, you want to go back to my... See, I didn't say it like that. Maybe I should have. So anyway, I said, why don't we go back to my place after the movie and hang out, because I'm renting this beach house right there on the beach. It's really nice. You can stand out on the deck. You can walk right off the deck, right in the sand. You're 10 seconds from the ocean, right out the back door. And she probably wasn't that impressed because she's a local. She lives there all the time, so probably no big deal. So she looks at me, and there's a bit of a pause. And while there was a pause, I was just thinking, okay, I went way too far, way too fast. Probably should have waited at least until after the movie. Probably should have tried to hold her hand or something like that. And see, I wanted to come across as, okay, let's just go back to my place and chill. And that's probably, in my mind, I knew that would probably happen. But of course, there's always that thought of, well, we might go back to my place and I might actually score with this chick. That's a great possibility. All right, now, so you got to remember, I'm 19, 20 years old. So she looks at me and she says, well, that sounds like a pretty good idea. But why don't we go to my place instead? And I'm thinking in my mind, hell yeah, home run. I'm going to go back to her place and I'm going to score. See, that's what I was thinking in my mind. And then she automatically says this. She says, well, first thing I have to do. And see, this is where the story gets creepy. This is where I couldn't handle it as a 19, 20-year-old. I don't know that I can handle this today. I don't think I can handle this in 3 lifetimes, to be honest with you. She looks at me and she says, well, let me call my husband real quick. So automatically I look down at her hands. I don't see any rings on her hands. I don't know what kind of marriage this is. But I know in most marriages you wear a ring. You don't have to. I know that. But most people do. That would have been a good indicator. That would have saved me a lot of time. That would have saved me the admission to a movie, because I would have hit on somebody else. I would have been turned down. I would have went on about my day, because that's usually what happened. So she says, let me call my husband first. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Wait. Call your husband? I didn't know you were married. And she says, oh, no, it's cool because we're swingers. You can come over and he can watch. I'm thinking in my mind, watch what? Are we going to play Super Mario Brothers? What is he going to watch us do? And that's what I'm thinking in my mind. And that's not what I said though. I was like, yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah, I can do that. And I'm eating popcorn and I'm missing my mouth. You know, I reached down to get a drink of my slushie and it's probably all over my shirt. So she says, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go call him. Just let him know we're coming. And he'll be cool with it because he likes to watch. He may or may not join in. And when I say join in, he might come over and slap you on the butt or something like that. I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want anything to do with that. At that age, I'm just happy to get a girl to say yes. I don't want her husband involved. I don't want him watching me. I mean, what if I can't perform? What if his is, it's bigger than mine or something? There's lots of reasons for that not to happen. So I said, yeah, that's cool. I'll be right here. I'm good with that. I'm really, really good with that. I'll just hang out and wait. So she gets up and the previews are still going. So she gets up and she goes to the lobby to call because back then, thank God, we didn't have cell phones because had we had cell phones, she would have never had to have gotten up. Then I would have been screwed. So she gets up to go to the lobby to call her husband so I can come over and perform while he watches. I'm going to tell you all this one time. Chris Topp is not about that life. So as soon as she went to the lobby, you know how at the movies they tell you, okay, if you have to exit, there's an exit to your left and to your right in the front of the auditorium. I took one of those exits, and I was back on the beach in 5 minutes, forgetting all about that situation. Because I didn't want, like I said, I did not want anything to do with her and her husband and what was going on in her apartment. Didn't want anything to do with it. Now, that's the story. And as a matter of fact, I think I saw her again a couple of days later, and I ran. I just ducked. I didn't want her to see anything. I didn't want her to see nothing I didn't want her to see Chris Topp is what I'm trying to say. So I did avoid her. I only had to do it once. And maybe she saw me too and avoided me. I don't know. And I got to thinking about this later. I thought, well, what if she just didn't like me? What if she just said that? And what if she went to the lobby just so she could escape? So what if we both escaped that day? Maybe she just thought I was too much of a dork. And, I like to think that she thought I was hot and wanted me to come home with her. So I still like to think that. So that's the version of the story that I tell. Now, probably one of the biggest questions is, so, Mr. Topp, did you or did you not get lucky on that trip? No, I didn't. See, I should sit here and make up something really like a really cool story, like I saw this girl on the beach and she walked over to me. It was like in slow motion. I looked in her eyes and I said, "Hey, baby." And then at that moment, her bikini bottoms fell off and there was music playing and everything was in slow motion. It's like we were floating above the sand and it was like, no, it didn't happen. None of that happened. I got rejected so many times, but that's okay because you get rejected, you learn from your mistakes and you move forward with your life. That's what you do. We've got Kendra. What did you say, Gillers, in the chat? Kendra. It's good to see you. She says, "I'm glad you're not about that life." You know, the reason I said that whole quote is because I hear these youngins saying that all the time. They're like, They see all these drugs on the streets, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not about that life." Back in my day, we didn't do drugs. We took tree bark and we sniffed it. That's how we got high, because we were high on life. You think you got it easy these days? Well, let me tell you this. Back when I was growing up, we had to make our own air. Sorry, I cough whenever I do this voice. We had to make our own air, because if we didn't make our own air, we wouldn't have oxygen to survive. So that's how we had it back in my day. See, anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. Kendra says, because I personally am not feeling that lifestyle. And it's good, right? It's good. See, I don't want nobody watching me. I don't want to feel like I'm part of a movie. I pictured the whole time. I pictured her husband sitting over in a recliner in the bedroom, like some recliner in the corner with a little lamp. Maybe one of those Hefner robes on with a pipe. Maybe eating popcorn. The popcorn that I bought for the movie. Maybe sitting back eating that while I performed. And I really, to this day, I don't think it was Super Mario Brothers. I'm really thinking that they were probably wanting me to do something else. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. But this one particular story pretty much took up the whole podcast. So, what do you guys think in the chat? Should I come back and tell? Because I've got other stories, and the whole reason for this is because I'm reintroducing myself to Spreaker, and I want you to know who Chris Top is. I want you to have an idea of what I'm about. I want you to know that Chris Top isn't about that life. And the best way for you to really get to know me is for me to tell stories. I could sit here and say, hey, but then it sounds like I'm a nervous dater. It's like, hey, I'm 42 years old. I'm 5'11". I wear glasses. I love long walks in the park. I really, really like ponies. And I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are cool. I like Michelangelo. He's my favorite. And it's probably been 25 years since I smoked marijuana. If it was legal, I might fire up a doobie. I might hit the bong. If I was going to smoke a bong, it would probably be I would probably have a Vader bong, because then I would hit it and it would be like, and it'd be like, Luke, man, I'm your daddy, man. I'm your daddy. See, I don't want to get on here and do that. I would rather tell you stories about my life, and that way you can kind of put the puzzle pieces together. You can figure out who I am, and you can view me however you want. So I'll leave that up to you. So, all right, what I'll do is I'll do another broadcast, and I'll get on here and I'll tell one more story. And I expect Kendra, and I expect Becca, and I expect Kiss Kiss to be here. Love Muffin says she's got to go to bed. She has to go to bed at a decent time because she is not about that life. And that's what she told me. She said, Chris Top. She said, Chris Top, I'm not about that life. And that's why she's leaving. And that's exactly how she said it. And I thought it was creepy because, well, she's a chick. So that's the show. I'm going to leave, but I will be back with another broadcast. So until I broadcast again, please remember this. Life is good, and I'm gone.
You have been exposed to the Chris Top program. Tune in next, yeah,
I don't have a schedule.
Right.